incident from Thursday night remains one of the biggest talking points from the weekend, and it will remain so until the tribunal decision is heard and digested tomorrow night. So Eric Hipwood referred directly to the tribunal for his push on Ryan Gardner, which sent the Dogs defender into umpire James Mollison. This has been heavily discussed over the weekend.
This is Jared's domain, so this is your domain.
I was going to ask you...
What do you think?
Well, the sticking points at the tribunal, I think, will be, is this intentional or is it careless? So intentional contact with an umpire is on the list of direct tribunal offences, which suggests to me the AFL believe it was intentional by Eric Hipwood.
He has to be suspended, Kath.
Hang on a second here.
Be suspended.
Interestingly, the guidelines state a player may also be charged with the offence of careless contact with an umpire by directly pushing an opponent into an umpire or their direct path. A charge of careless contact with an umpire will be subject to a fixed financial sanction.
That's rubbish. Let's forget all the spin, right? He pushed him into the umpire. He can go left, they can jag right. No. He knew he was there. He knew he was in the vicinity and he didn't take care of his own business. And the umpire got knocked to the ground. He got knocked to the ground. He would rang on, mark the ball and kick the goal. That's not right. That is not fair. And I think the AFL should talk to the tribunal and say, we can't have this in the game.
How long a suspension do you want to see?
I would think at least one. How much do we have to protect the umpires? Jim, have you seen the Hipwood incident where the umpire got bowled over and then Hipwood ran on to take the mark and kick the goal? What were your thoughts on that?
I didn't really spend much time on it, actually. I was surprised when I saw that he got referred to the tribunal, and I haven't looked into it, so I'm not exactly sure.
Here it is here. Have another look. It's the top right-hand corner. Oh, I didn't like that. That said a lot. Yeah. And then it takes a mark, kicks a goal. Change your mind or not?
I'm not sure. It's difficult to... Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Stuart Dew, how do you strike the balance between protecting your player as a coach and then also doing your bit and protecting the umpire?
Oh, look, we've got to protect the umpires at all costs. I haven't analysed it. I saw that game live, actually, because it was on Thursday night up in Brisbane. So I did wonder how he got so free. But, look, I can't imagine any player deliberately doing that. I think if you look at the intention, that's where I'd start. So I guess, in terms of, I'm sure Chris Fagan's protecting his player, but also mindful that the umpires are a no-go zone.
I know you've been watching, well, you're both aware of the situation David Noble finds himself at North Melbourne, and the discussion about the priority pick has arrived. What is your philosophy on priority picks, and do you think North Melbourne should receive one?
Yeah, you asked me this during the break. It's a challenging one because there's no question great players make great coaches. At the end of the day, you need talent, and you need talent to get your list back up. So it's probably up to people other than myself and our club to make the decision about what's going to get North Melbourne back up the quickest. And generally that is talent, one way or the other.
Stewie, you were able to secure two good mates, Anderson and Rao, with a priority pick. That theory of getting two mates and helping to keep your list together, has that got substance, that theory? And do you think North Melbourne deserves a priority pick?
Look, whether or not they deserve it is not in my wheelhouse, but because it's clearly case by case and a lot of things need to be analysed. But in our case, we finished last, so Matt was pick number one, and we got the priority pick number two, and we actually picked, and I made the point of it at draft camp. I chased Noah Anderson down the hallway and I said, Matt, when we take you with pick two, that's because we think you're the best player there. It was irrelevant that they were best mates. That was just an absolute bonus, and I think we can see now that they both warrant where they were picked, and that's fantastic. Been fantastic for us, but as Dimmer said, getting some talent in the door takes time as well. So everyone says you've got all these picks, but they take a little while to mature.
How difficult would it be for David Noble right now? I mean, I look at his position and think who would want to be a senior coach in the AFL, but under review suffers a 112-point loss in Geelong, and then you've got club greats like Wayne Carey saying he's not going to be there.
Yeah, I don't think that helps. And, you know, I sit there and go, to me, you know, David Noble I know as a footy coach and an operator, and he's a smart guy, and he's doing his very best job. Sometimes there's circumstances that are just beyond your control, and the best thing you can have is a fast-forward button. To fast-forward a couple of years, you get 30 to 40 games in these players, and the guy across the room for me here is an example of that. It takes time. You know, things don't happen overnight, especially when you've got young players. They just take time. We've had COVID times. We've had 2 interrupted seasons where, you know, we've got guys in our VFL like Thompson, Dow, Riley, Collier, Dawkins have played 16 VFL games total. It's a challenge. It's been a real challenge for those sides, especially when you're at the bottom of the ladder at this time of the season, sort of thing.